Thank you for watching CITAM. Oh, sorry. Let me do it again. Gasi Kujia. Okay. Greetings and welcome to the Anchored Man right here on CITAM Church Online. My name is Precious Cole, and thank you for always watching. We are still unpacking the fear of marriage and relationships. And today we ask the question, how do you know you're actually suffering or struggling with the fear of long-term commitment to friendships or marriage? And I'm just going to run through what to look out for in your own life, or if you're in a relationship, in your partner, how you can tell perhaps if they are crumbling down with fear, and so on and so forth. Number one of the most common things about people that have a fear of long-term commitment to friendship and marriage is that they struggle to form or commit to long-lasting relationships. This is not their cup of tea. They don't enjoy it. It's always a struggle for them, and you have to keep on pushing them. They just like to retreat to their own spaces. And if we are making friendships, they are very platonic, nothing deep, no commitments. We don't go beyond this. We barely scratch the surface. And so if you realize this is who you are and this is how you like to carry yourself, you might want to actually pause and reflect and ask yourself, is this actually a demonstration of your fear of friendships, and where is it possibly stemming from? Number two, this kind of people always have a tendency of pushing away people, genuine people that just want genuine friendships. We have a tendency of pushing them away, or sometimes just ending friendships abruptly. Out of nowhere, nothing really has happened, but someone has just dropped you. There's no explanation, there's no nothing. Sometimes it's the fear of commitment, the fear. I don't want to be your friend for that long, and that is coming from somewhere. It could be those issues we highlighted in our first two videos. And so if you realize this is you just wake up one morning and you drop friends. You just wake up one morning and you renew your line. You delete your WhatsApp and you install a new one, and you just clear out your Facebook, your Instagram, and you start all fresh, and people just don't know what happened to you. It could be, these are signs that show, the discomfort with making and committing to long-term friendships. Number three, you constantly feel like you'll get divorced, or that there will be infidelity in your relationship or marriage, that you're always living under the shadow of fear. You always think someone will cheat on you. So for instance, how this plays, if you're in a relationship, when your partner doesn't pick your call, your first instinct, the first thing you ask yourself is, akona nani? You would rarely ask yourself, is he okay? Has his phone been stolen? Has he been involved in that? Your first thought will always draw to, hajashika yo simu juu akona nani? You see, sometimes the fear, because you always imagine if they are not with you, they're with someone else, they are cheating on you, and you always imagine you'll be divorced, someone will drop you, and so on and so forth. Those kind of tendencies or patterns of thought could be expressions of a deep-seated fear of relationships and committing to marriage, and perhaps there's history to it. And my question would be, what's that history? Sometimes we run away from these things and we don't realize they actually end up affecting us. And so for even those of us that have already committed to marriage, the day your spouse is late to come home, the first question we'll ask them is, who are you with? And we'll start inspecting their clothes, looking for perfume that's not theirs, and so on and so forth. We wouldn't want to ask, did the car have a breakdown? Was there a problem? Or are you in a long meeting, and so on and so forth? Why? Because we have fears that this relationship wouldn't work. And the commitment part of it is making us uncomfortable. Number four, these people, if you find yourself that you often think you will fall out of love with your prospective spouse, you always imagine that one day umse ataniacha, one day umse atanitoka. That's a dominant thought. It's not so much you think of you being left much more than you think about the two of you growing and getting to enjoy life together, starting a family, and so on and so forth. But there's a part of you that just seems to be drawn to the fact that there's a possibility this guy will drop me, or this lady will drop me, and so on and so forth. It can be an overlying fear that is there, that makes you uncomfortable about commitments, and so on and so forth. And so because of that, you'd be very careful to jump in with both your feet, because you don't want to be swept off just in case umse ataniwacha. Generally, the dominant thought about your relationship and marriage is is the failure. It's what you imagine more when you just sit by yourself, when you're on your own, at your bed by the night sleeping. When you think about your relationship, your dominant thought is its failure. You think about how they leave you, you think about how it might not work. It's what preoccupies your mind much more than the success of it, much more than your desire, and what you'd want to see it become, and so on and so forth. And lastly, some of us could, interpret this uneasiness as to mean that this is not going to work. This is the red flag. Some of us would interpret all this thing that now this means this cannot work, it must stop, it must end right at this point. Are you that kind of a person who, when you hear your friends are hanging out, you'd be uncomfortable to go because they'll come with their wives, or they'll come with their spouses, or everybody will have their girlfriends, and then you'll be there. And sometimes because of that and not wanting to be around people that are thriving in relationships that are stable or permanently committed to one another, we can withdraw from such communities. We can withdraw. And if you begin to observe these tendencies, they should help you see that there is a deeper issue that perhaps you're being blind to, which the goal of this video, as we'll be seeing in our last video of this series, is to help you be able to come in touch with that reality and heal from it so that you can be able to pursue meaningful and lasting relationships. Please notice, this is not purely about marriage, and I'm not asking you to go out there and get married whether you like it or not. It's even for the purpose of healthy relationships with those we work around, with those around us, our friends and colleagues, and so on and so forth. And we just want to help ourselves get to those spaces where we experience healthy relationships, and we don't have to walk with people like we are walking on eggshells because we do not know how our presence is making them feel. So join me on our last video as we explore possible solutions for us experiencing healing from the fear of long-term commitment to relationships and or marriage. Thank you always for watching The Anchored Man. God bless you.